Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation, Asia Pacific. Welcome, BV Jagadeesh, and also thank you for joining our interview program. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yes. First of all, Roger, thank you so much for having me as part of this. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be associated with University of San Francisco and then be part of this. I came to this country in 1982, and I actually had already finished my master's degree in India itself, and I had worked for a couple of years, and I happened to just get a job in a Silicon Valley high technology company. And since then, pretty much I have worked all my life until I started my own in 1993. I pretty much had worked in mostly startup companies. So I was sort of fortunate to work with different kinds of startup companies so that even though I was an engineer for many, many years, I got to actually see different aspects of building the product and then bringing the product to the market as well. I started my own first company end of 1993, which is Excellence Communications, where we pioneered the whole concept of internet data centers. We had version 1 of the AWS cloud that we used to offer to our customers. The company, we went public in 1998. I left the company in 2000 to start another company called NetScaler, which actually solved the problem for this hyper growth that the data centers were experiencing because of the server inefficiency. We dramatically reduced almost like 10:1 in terms of the number of servers that people used to deploy before to people deployed with the NetScaler. So that reduced tremendous data center footprint consumption, power consumption, the overall cost of running a data center for corporations. And that company, as you know, after 9/11, the entire market sort of collapsed. So we'll discuss that a little bit later. But eventually we came back and we built a flagship product, the NetScaler load balancers, which then started to do extremely well. And in 2005, Citrix came forward to acquire us. So for the last 10, 12 years or so, I've been primarily focused as an angel investor, and I'm working with the next generation of entrepreneurs, mostly in B2B and enterprise infrastructure, software, SaaS companies. About 40% of my time I spend on nonprofit organizations, both in the US as well as in India.
Discussion topic: making customers adopt mission-critical products.
I'll give you my own example of
that'd be great. Yeah, great.
Yeah. So NetScaler, we started with the hypothesis back in 1999 when we started the company to address this whole, as I mentioned earlier, the server capacity to be which is inefficiently being used because of certain protocol issues. We said we will offload that so that the server's utilization dramatically comes down so that you don't need to deploy. Meaning, if for 1 million users who are going to come and access the web, right? If I needed, let's say, 20 servers for 1 million users, with a NetScaler, you probably can get away with maybe 3 or 4 servers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's how dramatically you can reduce the number of servers. So that's the hypothesis in which we built the product. Now, what happened? 9/11 got hit, and the entire market basically collapsed. And the growth curve of the traffic, which is growing at this exponential curve, it actually started to drop.
Oh.
So in fact, when I went and when I was talking to various customers saying that, hey, we have the product, we can now reduce the number of servers for you. So some of these customers, they showed the chart that their IT people had told them as to this is how the growth curve is going to be. So you better build the infrastructure for that growth curve. And now post 9/11, the whole thing is like falling down. So in fact, some people said, what's the point in saving the servers, right? I want to actually get rid of some servers. So if you want some servers, please take them home. So the whole hypothesis in which we started to build this product, market completely shifted.
Yeah.
So this is where, if you have entrepreneurs who are smart, who have the ability to rethink as to what can I do with this technology. So that is when we went back and then we built a complete load balancer as a next generation of load balancer, where we not only saved the server footprint, but we saved on the bandwidth. And we were the first one to provide the SSL security at gigabit capacity. So essentially, now we have built a new product. So we took about 9 months to go and rebuild this product. And then we introduced that product to the market. Now, when you go to sell this as a load balancer, there are already established players that are in the market. So there is F5 from Seattle, there is Cisco, which had a load balancer, and then there are a bunch of other companies that had this similar kind, and they were all fairly well established in the market. So if I go and tell Mr. Customer, I have this next generation load balancer, please replace your F5 or your Cisco and then put a NetScaler, what does the customer do? He'll just show you the door. Right? Because it's such a mission critical product, because if a load balancer fails, my entire server farm will fail. That means millions of people who are accessing the servers, right, will start seeing a blank screen. So we had to be smart enough, and we said, you know, Mr. Customer, you don't need to turn on, you don't need to remove your load balancer. You insert our product on top of your existing load balancer. And I will give you all these complementary solutions that your existing load balancer doesn't have, which offers all this value. And we figured out how to configure our NetScaler along with NF5, along with the Cisco, along with other products. And that gave an opportunity for us to insert, if this is an F5, then we sat on top of F5. Okay. And now what happens? 6 months later, customer is happy. And now he starts opening up more with you, saying that, hey, you know what? I've been asking these vendors for these functionalities, right? That they did not even bother to respond back. Now that I know your product well, and I've already used this product for 3 years or 4 years, I've completely depreciated this product, right? And I like you guys. Let me turn on the load balancing function in your product as well.
Wow. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see. That's a great point.
Yeah. So this is the kind of scenario that an entrepreneur needs to envision ahead of time and make the transition of your product into the customer environment as smooth as possible. So that means eliminating the frictions.
Yeah, that's a great point. So actually, I think I see from your story, there are two very critical points. One is you really try to solve the major pain points, and in this case, the major pain points that must have is kind of multiple functions, multiple pain points, to make it truly valuable. I think the second point, which is also very, very valuable, is you have to consider customers' adoption costs. Many times, even if you solve their problem, if the adoption costs are very high, they will still reject your products.
Exactly.
Thank you for watching.